All right, today I have on the bench transmission out of a 2001 BMW 330 Ci, and this is the ZF5HP19, and the problem is no reverse. All right, so I know I've done teardown videos with this transmission already, and I think the teardown video that I did, the problem was the pump bushing had spun out. So this is a little different. This has no reverse, so what we're probably going to see a common problem. This is a common problem with the ZF5HP19. I would say as common as the pump bushing spinning out. All right, so without even knowing anything, just knowing the condition, we're probably looking at a blown D clutch drum, because that is the clutch that comes on in reverse, and it has no reverse. Drives forward. We're able to picked it up from a wholesale account who was a BMW specialty shop, and we drove it back here, no problem. So what happens with this drum? It's actually a DG clutch drum. It was I guess that they didn't make the snap ring. The problem is the drum blows, which is I'm sure that's going to be the problem here. We're probably going to find pieces when we take the pan down. They redesigned the snap ring. I think they maybe made it a little deeper into the drum, maybe by 30 or 40 thousandths, I think. So they redesigned the snap ring so the drum does not blow. So this is not a pressure problem like it is with the 5HP24s. All right, this is more of a design problem. Sorry about that. With the D clutch drum. So we're going to open this up and we're going to see what we find, and just a quick story on how this guy started sending his transmission work here, probably for the last couple of years. He had called up. He was dealing with another shop for his work, and he called here to ask a question. He was having, I think he had like a ZF5HP19. They don't really do much with transmissions there. Certain things they do, you know, like services and pans and stuff like that. But I guess it was having a problem that he needed a little advice on. And it might have been something like that 5088 code, if I'm not mistaken. So he calls up, and the manager puts me on the phone, and I'm talking to him, and he's wondering if I can help him, and I said, yeah, no problem. So he was telling me what the problem was, so I looked at some wiring, and I gave him some advice on how I would go to check this. And I think the problem actually was like the range switch on the mechatronic unit was bad, because I think he was looking at the shifter, which it could be that too, but the checks he was doing, everything was coming okay. So I said, you want to look at this and this, and he's not too far down the road actually, and I know he's there on Saturday, so I was traveling in that direction. I says, what, let me just stop in and introduce myself and stuff like that and see what happened. And he was in the front, and they ended up fixing the car. And then he says, thank you, and he says, I got to tell you, I don't even, you helped me, and I don't even use you for transmission work. I called my regular guy, and all he did was blow me off. So, he couldn't thank me enough, and ever since then, he started sending everything here. But I said, that's great, yeah, we could take care of anything you got. So just a nice little, story I wanted to share with you guys of how, and it's been a great, really, really nice people over there, and it's really been a great relationship. He's done stuff for us, and, we do his transmission work, so it works out really nice. But I don't mind, somebody calls, give advice. I have no problem with that. Okay, so we're going to tear this down, and again, I loosened these the pump bolts, make it go a little faster, and I have the bolts all except for 4, and I guess we drained whatever way we could out of the plug in the pan. So I'm thinking blown D clutch drum. A lot of times you see the pieces from the drum in the pan, and I have a feeling that that's what we're going to find. So let me get a little closer, and there's really not much on the outside. We're gonna pull this switch off. This is like the neutral switch. These switches, just to let you know, have a fairly high failure rate. We do quite a few of these, so if you get any codes pertaining to that, and if it's a generic code like a P code, it would be like a 705, 706 code. More than likely this switch is no good. And this transmission is used in Audis and Porsches and BMWs, and they all go bad. Even the 5HP24s, these switches have a pretty high failure rate. All right, and you have your connector for the solenoids here. That's really about it. It's fill and check. Plug is right here. And that's really about it. So let me get a little closer. We're going to take this switch off. We'll take this lock out. We're going to take the pump bolts out, flip it, and take the valve body off, and then we'll push everything out and get to that drum. But drop the pan, see what we find. All right, so let me get a little closer. Okay, so first let's get this switch out of the way here. And we're going to get this bracket out. So this the harness, the harness side goes on and it twists. You know, sometimes when these guys are putting this back together, they call me over because they're having a problem getting it on, getting the thing to twist to get it to lock on. So what I do is I normally just kind of take some light air and blow out in there, because sometimes some dirt gets in there, and then it normally goes right on, no problem. Okay, so let's put this back here. All right, so this is on a dowel here. So I'm gonna get it. Okay, it'll come right off of there, and just slide it right off. Take it out of these holding brackets. So you know what? Maybe we'll take the whole bracket out like that. Like that. All right. So here is the switch. I'm gonna put this aside. Okay, now we're going to get these pump. Actually, before we do that, let's take this lock out. This will slide right out. Okay, and this little tab is going to face in because that's what locks it. Right here. And then this should push right in. All right, now I'm going to get the pump bolts out. And I like to use the original ZF overhaul kits, and you actually get new pump bolts on the ZF19, 5HP19. All right, so just real quick, we got a casting number on this pump. If you ever have to change the pump, you know, they may ask for the casting number on this pump here, because there are a few different ones. I know my supplier asked, so this is the 1060, looks like 410017. I think there's maybe two different pumps, but they always ask me for the casting number. Okay. Alright. These also are T27. What I usually do with these bolts first instead of just getting the gun and getting on there and you know, just trying to get them off. I take the 27 socket and I break each one of them loose. And sometimes you got to use the shocker to get the bolt loose, and if the thing strips out in there, you know, with the torque, you can't get that bit in there. It's going to be real hard to get the bolt out. I'm sure there's going to be some oil in here. I asked them to drain. Here's the drain right here as much as you can. Oh, and I'm hearing something hit the bench. There we go. There is the reason why we have no reverse. That is from your D clutch drum. Okay, let's put this here. All right, that just confirmed it, which I kind of had a feeling that's what we were going to find. Okay, the filter. Don't forget you want to go OE on these filters. Okay, so here is, even on this side, Filtran, made in Germany. That's the best way to go. Yes, they are a little expensive, but save you a lot of headaches. Okay. Output speed sensor. All right, now here's the input speed sensor. We want to disconnect that. Okay. You know what, just give me 1 second here. I will be right back. Okay, all right. All right, so now we're going to disconnect the input speed sensor. And I'm going to stick my scribe right in here and see if I can get this thing out without stabbing myself. Okay, got it. All right. Okay. All right, now we're going to pull the valve body off. T40, all the T40 bolts. And there's going to be a couple of feed tubes, plastic feed tubes. You know, those are going to be changed with the overhaul. And one has the flow control valve in it. All right, so let's get the bolts out. All T40. Maybe it. No, there's one. Okay. Let's see if this thing will move. Yes, okay. All right. I'm going to pull this valve body off. Push the solenoid connector through. Here we go. All right, so here's one of these sleeves that's going to be changed. So we're going to put this valve body aside here. And I'm going to take the input speed sensor off. Okay, that's probably a 27. Oh, here's more pieces to the drum. All right, now here's the like the flow control valve. Okay, right here. So what you want to do is push this thing in, turn it, and it'll come out. Here's the spring and what holds the tension on the spring. Now we got to get this plastic piece out, and it's in there, like snaps in. So it's okay to break it because it's going to be changed anyway. So let's try to get this thing out. Let me take the O-ring off. See if we can. There's a little bit of pain to get off. It should come out because I did crack it. Here it is. Same thing as the other one. Again, they get changed on the overhaul anyway. Okay, so we got the pump bolts out, got the valve body out, we got the tubes out. I can see the drum here is all busted up. We're gonna go, here's the shell. The input speed sensor sits right here. Here's the shell. And we're just gonna give it a little push. And then we can pull everything out. This is a magnetic ring on the A drum, so you want to be careful. Here's something in the bench, a little washer here. Okay, I'll go with Okay, shell. That looks good. Got a planet here. Ring here. All right, so you got a race here. Got a race here. I'm going to take like this spacer out. Snap ring is out. Here's the rest of the drum. Now, this thing's really bad. Not much left. All right, now we got to take the 3 center support bolts out and slide this drum out. Okay, you know what? I got to get my socket for that. It's probably, I think it's like a 50. Let's see. I didn't have that socket ready. Yeah. Let's see if I can get it with this. Whew. My air compressor on today. bolts for the center support, which is going to be changed, of course. Now, let's pull this thing out. Try to. Here is the D-clutch. You know, the D-clutch, actually, you could still see the writing on it. They're so good. Just the top, portion of the drum blew out. And again, it's, pretty common. The whole thing is only just this little bit left right here, and the rest is gone. Here's again, a nice piece. Snap ring. Okay, so this bearing is gonna go on there. Okay. All right, now we're gonna get the F-clutch drum. And remember to check the sleeve. And just by looking at this, it looks pretty good because the sleeve is sticking up. So that looks good. Got to check the mileage. I'm not sure the mileage on this. Alright, another ring here. So we got washer, not washers, a bearing set back here. Your output sensor reads back here. Now we get the back off, and then the case will be stripped. Not bad, comes apart. These ZFs, they come apart pretty easy. And I think it's probably a 13. Yes. Okay. Go over in here. Case is stripped. Bring the piece. Okay, so now let me get rid of this oil. Case over here. And let me just get set up, and we're gonna check all the clutches. Take the pump apart. Well, you know what? You have a shim. I wanted to let you know here, shim back here. So you want to be careful not to lose that. I'll go over the clutches, take the pump apart, and I don't have any parts yet, but all that's going to be here probably Monday or Tuesday or something. All right, and then we'll look at the valve body. All right, so I'll be back in a little bit, in a few minutes actually, once I get this stuff cleared up. Okay, all right, so I want to go over the washers or the bearings on these hubs here, because these things always normally have 3 pieces, and they can get lost very easily. All right, so in here on this side, you have the 2 races and the bearing, so you got 3 pieces total. And the other side as well. Okay. You have this one here with the lip on it, and everything fits inside. So there's 3 pieces on that one, and that's basically on this hub here. And then you have another one close bearing. Okay, so that's that. All right, let's take a look at the F clutch drum. All right, these are no good. You know, this, of course, this is going to get your typical banner kit. Okay, so we know we need the DG drum. And let's take a look at the other side, which is G clutch. All right, not bad. You know, even though you see the writing on there, which would be an indication that the clutch is good, but the clutch could still be worn, because I've seen that before. Okay, here is the B clutch. Oh, I also checked the mileage on this car, 85,000 miles. Okay, not bad. B clutch looks good. Oh, and you also have this race that goes right here. This goes on top of the pump. So, all right, now I'm going to take a look at the A and the E clutch. Just wanted to reposition here and get my stamping pliers. Get this clip out. Okay, here's the snap ring. So I'll put that there. And you got a bearing here for the A. Okay, let's take a look at the A clutch. Okay, not bad. Take a look at the E clutch. No good. Got some burn marks on them here. Steels are okay. All right, and you have a skinny O-ring here, which seals on this piece inside the A drum. It's like a fixed, a fixed washer, if you will. The O-ring seals right on this, on here. So you got the skinny O-ring and you got two Teflon rings. Okay, now we'll look at the C clutch. Most of the time these things are no good. Let's see what they look like. Yeah, they're always even the steels. Okay, so we have a bearing here. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I got to take the split ring out, and we're going to take the piston out. This will also come out, and then we can take a look at the body and gears. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the valve body, and I guess that's really about it. All right, so let me take that out, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, all right, so here is the split ring. All right, I use this is a top plate, pressure plate to the K3 drum on the 722.6. That's what I use to press down. Here is the Belleville return spring. And now I'm going to get the piston. This whole thing will probably come right up, but we'll get the piston out. Alrighty, this will probably come off. There we go. Okay. Oh, you know what we gotta do? We gotta get the flow control valve out of here. Let's see. Snap ring pliers. Okay. There it is. And this setup goes like that. Okay. All right, just give me 1 second. Let me just get set up for this. I'm going to get my shopper ready to get these bolts out. All right, so just give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get these out. Okay, and then there was this one here. Maybe one more. Okay. Gotta get a new bit. Gotta get this one too. Okay, now let's get the bolts out. Okay. All right, here's the pump. We got our lineup pin, pump plate, and the body and gears. All right, so these dots are facing up. Pushing doesn't really look that bad. And remember, a lot of times this bushing gets spun out because of a bad converter. All right, and here is like a spacer that goes in before the front seal. Okay. O-ring, and it's going to be changed. So overall, not too bad. You know, banner kit, DG drum. These 5HP19 solenoids, I want to bring the valve body up. Really only one of them. You know, I don't really see too many problems with the solenoids, just like on the 5HP24s. I don't really see too many problems with the 19s. This is the pressure control solenoid here, and this, if you have like hard engagements or and hard downshifts, this solenoid could be mechanically clogged. I've seen that before, and it's fairly common because my tech service does have a bulletin out on that. But these, you know, don't really see too many problems with these. But the one with the yellow cap, electronic pressure control, that can give problems. And you know, there's a piece of drum in this valve body. I'm going to be opening the valve body anyway, but there's a piece in here. Look, there's another piece in here. Yeah. I'm going to be opening the valve body anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, pieces in there, so gotta watch out for that. I don't even know where the heck it went. It snapped. I don't know. It snapped out of the pliers. So it's jammed in there somewhere. Just can't get my scribe behind it. It is. So be careful of that too. I don't know if I really ever seen that before, but it can happen. Because this drum was really, I mean, the whole drum was, normally you would have, you know, part of the drum, but basically this whole drum was blown apart. A lot of times, like I said, maybe it's just part of it, the snap ring flies out and the clutches come out, but basically this whole drum, with the exception of this, is gone. And again, that's basically a design flaw. It's not really a pressure problem. So the new drum, they redesigned the snap ring so that this can't happen. I think they made it a deeper groove to prevent the drum from blowing. It is the second design drum. I mean, that's all that should be available now, in case you had to change it. You know, I don't think you have to worry about getting an early one or first design one. I don't think they're available anymore. And reading a bulletin on these, they say you're supposed to go by the number on the trans, the 1060 number. But I was talking to my supplier, and he basically just has one drum listed. Either he has the ZF drum, or they actually do have an aftermarket drum, and I was asking him about that, and he said, I sell a ton of them and never had a problem. But I think, you know something, I think that aftermarket drum, honestly, is made somewhere in Germany, because I've seen one and it has the German markings on it. So I think it's made somewhere in Germany. So you know, more than likely it's half the price. So I'm sure you would be okay if you wanted to go that way. All right, so I guess that is it for this 01 BMW 330 Ci ZF5HP19 with no reverse. Found a blown DG drum. All right, so we're gonna get that banner kit, converter, OE filter, typical overhaul stuff, and we'll do this up and get this back to the guy ASAP, get it back to the account. Because of course everybody needs their car these days. All right, I thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we will see you next one.